I dare you to stand and close your eyes and walk backwards. Walk backwards. Oh, okay, so I had this idea. Should I go live on a retrograde, like a station day, new moon, new beginnings, right? But on a day Mercury stations to go backwards, gave me a reason to test out like this weird trash can that I'm live streaming from. Then I got all brainy about it. I'm like, look at all these symbols and glyphs. My thoughts expanding. Yeah, let's do a live stream. Sun and moon and Mars and Sagittarius. Leaps abound. We can go anywhere and everywhere. Forward. Sort of. Backwards, actually. So, I hope you brought a pen and a pad on this transmission. Transmission. A pen, and a pad, 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 and a pad. What it's really about is what you believe. What do you believe? I know what I believe in. Belief. Do you believe? That's the deal. It's about belief. You probably hear a lot of words, a lot of different things on Sagittarius archetypes, so the words and shit, right? But it is about belief in the end. And what happens with belief? What happens when you think about what you believe in, what you stand behind? It comes from a place like you're in your self place, right? You know, your self place. And then when you start to think about outside of you, so from within you to outside of you, right? That's when your beliefs start to get engaged by the world, right? So as soon as you came into this planet, like you're like what you end up believing in, like other beliefs are shown to you, right? And then you might take some of those beliefs as your own. And then they change. And there's others around you in community, in the world, or church, or some shit, or some video game Discord group that you're part of. And
they all have a certain belief maybe that ties you in together. But it's kind of funny. It's like it starts off where you're in your own place and these things that you've embedded inside you and the world has shown you. And then you'll say that's what you believe in, or that's somewhere to ask you, or then something like the internet happens and there is like internet forums and comment sections. Man, if we can just fucking turn it off. You know, in certain parts of the world, they do siesta in the afternoon. It's like, you give me the power switch to turn off the internet between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm telling you, this world would change. It would be, I think, a better place. That's what I believe. Every single one of you probably has a social media profile, and you're representing yourself. You're representing your belief, probably. Like, you believe in cat videos. That's like your calming mantra. It's kind of been that way for me, but you know, stuff like that. So, you know, it's all about belief. Thanks for joining me on the stream. I'm going to get to things real quick here because I have a lot of there'll be a lot of data here on this one, because I'm going to show you just show you some things that you might already know about, but it's going to be sort of math-oriented, numbers-oriented. Kind of in a weird mood today, but I'm going to check in on chat here quick, and I'm going to jump in. And I suggest, if you're into this, you could watch it later. I don't know how I'm going to chapter outline this video, but it's going to be a lot of work afterwards. But I have a lot of dates because on this new moon here, and I think it's going to happen here. Why do I have what? I need to give me a second. I'm already in my zone. Here we go. Okay, you're not going to see this yet. 3:32 Pacific. Mira. Wait, no. There, I think it happens. I think at 3:32 Pacific here, which is less than 20 minutes something away, that we're actually in the new moon. So we're going to hit the new moon. And so we're in balsamic phase here for the first 20 minutes of this video. So, you know, say your prayer. I definitely last night and Sunday definitely did. When we did the transition from Scorpio moon to Sagittarius moon, I definitely felt it. And I was just working like I do. But last night I did my thing, you know. I felt really good about it. Knowing about the transits, the new moon, knowing about the next 3 to 4 weeks as we go into January here, some of which I will talk about. But I'm a big proponent of the day before the new moon happens, the balsamic moon. I think it's such a potent force. If you're into that thing, which I am, I'm into that thing, you know. So let's say hi to chat. I didn't get too trippy on the beginning of the video. I'm in a mood here, and I'm going to sit over here and say what's up. I want to first acknowledge Anna Carolina Prujansky from Brazil, who said what's up before the stream, along with the Sunbeam Network. Hello, Jagger. Jagger Waters with a Saturnian glyph. Hello, Jagger. Angela M., greetings to you. Oh, Azure. I got to get that right. Howdy, they say. At least getting sick today means I got to stay home from work to catch this live. I'm sure it was worth getting sick, actually. And I hope you get well there. Lily Welch, greetings and hello to you. Titian X, thank you for being here again, present and accounted for, along with Jendi and along with James Sanders. Hello. Scorpion Muse, hello, and sending love back to you. NZ Beer Babe. Oh, man, this cracks me up. These names. Yes, catch you live again. You know, I try to work it where I could catch some of you in the other parts of the world. Along with El Sosa, good to see you too. Darlene, hello. Hetronaut, love note-taking. Good. Good. You must have some Mercury or something aspected or something, Earth or something. Dolly Nelson, thank you. Love Sagittarius season, exclamation point. That's what I should have did on this thumbnail, by the way. Instead of a question mark, I should put an exclamation point. Jupiter's my ruler. So think about what Dolly just said. Jupiter's the ruler, which means they could be one of two rising signs. Shapanda, yo, and Joe G is ready to take notes along with the stars of the Sunbeam Network. Esmeralda, hello. Leanne Patterson is already in on it. Is like, I enjoy the sense of humor and lightheartedness of people with natal Sag moons. Okay, good. That's good. And GRP Jelly, I believe. Oh, and then Jagger's like, yeah, I got a Sag moon. Confirm the lightheartedness. Have you ever seen anybody Sagittarius-wise, like, down in the dumps? If you ever catch them, like, or a moon stuff that if they're, like, in the place they don't normally show people, depending on the rest of the chart, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. But if you could believe it, you want to see that part of them, by the way. You want to see that part of them because sometimes within a 10-minute conversation of them being in a tough place, or others would consider tough place, they'll somehow turn it around in a sentence and then it'll go back and forth and back and forth. It's super mutable. Hamandita, hello. Cherokee Cases, the first live I've attended here. Thank you, Cherokee Case. Thank you for the kind comment. And there's a lot on people's minds. 11T Levity, good to see you too. Cosmic Soup. Whoa, everything just jumped. Okay, here's another thing. We're having Mercury Retrograde station. I'm a little like, I don't know how this stream's going to go. I've already had weird stuff happen this morning with tech stuff. Cosmic Supermarket, good morning from down under. Cosmic Supermarket, good afternoon from up over. Big Daddy, the solar system, thinking about Gandhi. Interesting, huh? Angela M. Okay, so I got a Jade Esheti, can you say more about the balsamic moon? Balsamic moon is kind of the ending phase of the lunar cycle that we do every month. In the astrology world, we can break it up to 8 phases. We usually see it broken up into 4 phases here in the month. But it's the last phase, you could say last 30 degrees before the new moon, is kind of a little bit more than that. A little bit like the dirt is cleansed, like there's nothing in the dirt. Everything's been harvested and disseminated through the moon phases. We come to this death retirement place of nothingness, where we're in this nothingness, in the dark of the moon, where we are getting ready for the new moon again. But that balsamic place, you could say, is a very quiet, solitary place. Rosewater Lightning, hello to you, Angela R. Energetic Principles, what up? Yo, and by the way, Energetic Principles in the chat right now. I just released a podcast. It's on the channel here, audio podcast. I did with Melissa. You could check that out. We did that podcast, and we were in a haunted room. It wasn't haunted, actually. There was other spirits there. You hear these creaks and weird noises in the back of that podcast, and we acknowledge it in the podcast. You did a lot better job of acknowledging, and I think acknowledging the spirits in that room there, Melissa. Anyway, something else happened after that podcast late that night, too. Something we heard in the night was amazing. Dolly Nelson, El Sosa. All right. Let me catch up here. Andrea Banex, hello, and I see everybody. Angela R. Bob, Sarah Florin, new moon is in my first house. It's midnight here in Copenhagen. Good. It's all late night there. That's good. That's good. Let's do it. All right. Let's do this. I got a lot of stuff to deal with. And we're going to start with the new moon chart, actually, which is about it's 6 minutes away. 6 minutes. 6 minutes? 6 minutes? 6 minutes? 6 minutes? I usually start off these streams with a poem. And now that I realize something, hold on a second. Let's do it. I wasn't planning on this. I'm a little off kilter because I was doing things differently to get ready for this. So we're going to pick a poem out of this book. Not the Target Circle receipt, but the Greek poems to the gods. I'm telling you, this book is so dope. Okay, it's got the Orphic hymns in there, Homeric hymns. It's really well done. It's got this stuff. So let me just pick one and we'll do it. And we're gonna jump to the because I have a lot to talk about. We're gonna pick. Ooh, do we do a? I did one Hekate. We could do that too. Let's see. I think I did that on the last stream, but let's check it out. I think I did. A call on Hekate of the roads of the crosswords lovely. It's a different translation, by the way. In heaven and on earth and on the sea, wrapped in robes of saffron, spirit of the tomb, reveling with the breath souls of the dead, daughter of Pisces, lover of solitude, delighting in deer, nocturnal, accompanied by dogs, indomitable empress. She sure is the triple goddess. She's been in my life the last year. I got to tell you, this is not in the book, but I'm telling you, man, I end up on my knees pretty much. Herder of bulls, queen holding the key of the world, leader, nymph, mounting, wandering nurse of the young, I pray, O maid, be present at our holy rites, ever with joyous heart, favor the ox herd. I'll drop this link to this book. It's a really interesting book with the different themes, all in one, kind of with the history behind it and a different translation with some of the Homeric hymns and some artwork in there too. Really cool book. All right, let's get to it. This is the chart. This is a long ass fade I put. This is the chart of 3:32 Pacific. We are 3 minutes away from the new moon. All right. Okay. Okay. Here's Mars at 13 degrees Sagittarius. Let's just make a note of that off the bat. We want to look at the 20 degrees here that Mars and the Sun are at in Sagittarius. This is where the moon is a new moon is occurring. 20 degrees, 40 minutes, close to 21. Hey, last new moon of the year. And in the jolly Jupiterian sign, right? We're getting ready here close to a place where we will do the winter solstice very, very soon. We are days away from that. As a matter of fact, we are... I have the right stuff in front of me. On the 21st, it happens. Great. You know what? Normally we would talk about Sagittarian new moons is amazing and hope and belief and the whole deal. And it is. And I started this live stream talking about belief. What I believe in, what somebody believes in, right? And I think another way one can look at Sagittarius' story is about how one takes something from within themselves, and let's say they have something to on top of another truth or belief that they have. And they not only, let's say, believe this, or you believe it, but you need to get out in the world and see if it's true. To see if to test your belief, to test your theory, right? So let's think about it this way. Test a theory, a Sagittarius theory with buoyancy, with a certain type of perspective, a bigger perspective. We're shooting for that star that we want to know about. Our bow and arrow is shooting for that star. Coming from a certain belief, looking possibly at another belief, but we're really testing a theory. We're testing our belief. And so we need to test this, and we need to go on the quest to do this, a Jupiterian quest to do it. And every year when we have the new moon in Sagittarius, it is this. It's based out of this place, let's just say. Right? So saying that sounds pretty good, right? And it is. On paper, it's great. And we need this, and we need the third of the fire signs to show us this, because it's really connected to our ego growth, possible ego growth, and ego understanding of ourselves, and how a lot of fire signs, we need to put ourselves into the world to show that, express that, to test that, whether it's the Aries with pure will and a raw sense of impulse, and Leo, through creativity and through core light of me. Look what I've made, look what I've done. But here we get into another level, a philosophical level with Sagittarius and belief here, connected to ourselves and connected to ego. So I just wanted to say that, a different way of doing it, of talking about it. And so here we are with Mars driving this. Courageous, strength-filled Mars really pushing the vision, the belief. Fire. Passionate. Beyond myself, into the world, to test this and to know, is there others out there that believe what I do? Now, you've seen the last couple months, in many different parts of our world, certain things have been happening. Whether it's in the Middle East, unfortunately. Other places we cannot forget about, like in the Congo, Ukrainian, Russian thing. There's a lot of places in your own world, conflict, debate, rhetoric. Everybody's coming from the place that they believe in, with a bunch of people that believe the same thing. And how people go about what they believe in and what it turns into is kind of the key a lot of the times, because inherently we hope to exchange our beliefs in an interesting setting where we have a healthy debate, right? And as we know, that is harder to find. And I think it has to do with the stages and the places that people, a person, community sets up for that to happen. And we've seen a lot of a breakdown of those situations, I think, I got to say, even since Pluto and Capricorn 2008, okay? But let's just say for the last 4 or 5 years, we've really seen it. Right before COVID, presidential election where Trump was coming in, we saw full manipulation and breakdown of beliefs and all that. We're not even talking about like what's true and what's not true, because this is part of it. But anyway, just giving you some different thoughts I've had in my head about this, okay? So Mars is driving this. But I'll tell you right off the bat, we're going to go look to Jupiter in the chart, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and we're going to look to Jupiter in Taurus, which, cool, I dig it. A grounded, fixed Earth planet that is practical and deals with resources, ruled by Venus. Will go about at a slower pace of things, a more organic way of being, things that come from the garden that we tend to, that we plant. And that this is ruling this particular lunation pretty good so far. We actually, from Jupiter Taurus angle, we have something Earth grounding the Sagittarius vision, testing the theory of what is a belief, right? So, okay, Mars driving this too, blah, blah, blah. So let's go to the ruler of Jupiter and Taurus, which is Venus in Scorpio. We still have a Jupiter-Venus opposition that is happening. We just coming out of it this weekend. It's still around. I know some of you out there have had some stories. I got a couple. I'm not going to say them here. But this is where the curveball comes in. And here, I don't think, or I should say, I don't believe that it's all candy, the lunation. And I think there is remnants from the opposition that's happened with Venus and Jupiter, with Venus and Scorpio wanting passionately what its desires to be fulfilled and do anything for it to the end. Jupiter could magnify this, or things can go overboard or whatever. But in a sense, there's a magnification going on here. And it's based out of the Sagittarius with Mars and Sagittarius there. Okay. Got to be brief on this one. I'm a big proponent of inconjuncts. Uranus and Taurus at 19 degrees is inconjunct this particular lunation. They're not seeing eye to eye. I think something is erratic here and thrown off. There is not the complete vision in place for Sagittarius, even though they might think it is, or they've been selling you on it or telling you this. Something is slightly off, more than slightly off. And hence, there's other aspects in this chart, right? But hence, I think we come to the most interesting, important place. And it has to do with Mercury here at 8 degrees of Capricorn, because we know here, and let me give you the official time. We know here later, and this goes into the next day for people. We know here at 11:09 Pacific tonight, here Pacific, Mercury stations retrograde for 3 weeks to go backwards at 11:09. And for me, it's because it's in Capricorn, it's like sort of doesn't look related, but it is, because we know that Mercury is going to go backwards out of Capricorn and go back into a Sagittarius, all the way back to 22 degrees Sagittarius. And that's why I think in particular, this lunation is funky and odd and not completely trustworthy in my mind. Now, the big thing involved here, and I saved it for the end, has to do with Neptune here squaring this new moon. And this is why I, along with the little things that I pointed out here, this is why I am hesitant about any information or any piece of something that I'm acquiring or anything that someone is saying to me, no matter how buoyant and passionate they are about it, and how one would corral one's into one's own vision of what we could do together. I'm into visions. I'm into the fulfilling of dreams and visions. I'm not that fucking cynical, okay? But I'm enough to know that looking at this and knowing what's about to happen for the next 3 weeks with the retrograde, that I'm like fully pushing the brakes, and I'm like, what is true and what's not true? So when you have Neptune squaring the Sagittarius stuff here, this is things get exaggerated in my mind, right? We get exaggerated. It gets long-winded, right? So we just want to know this. We want to have this around us. We don't want to get caught up. I want you to go to the Sagittarius part of your chart with Mars and Sag being there. I mean, it's stupendous. I mean, what their belief is, or how they could take their own beliefs into the world and chase that vision that they have and to fulfill it. I'm all about it. I totally am. You know, in a Jupiterian, a Taurus way, grounded, it's there. There's just a lot of work and a lot of detail that's involved in here. And I think because of Mercury retrograde, stationing retrograde, and with Neptune here, if we talk about the imprint of the new moon, it's not straightforward. As a matter of fact, I think it's deceptive. And I also think because of that, we have a chance with Mercury retrograde transit that's going to happen here. And then after it starts to move forward in January, we actually have a chance to really nail down what we believe, or if that's what we think we believe, into the vision, and actually do take the steps for those things to happen, right? So for me, some of watching this channel, I got my ways. I'm always looking at both sides of things. But, for me, Neptune is fabrication, dissolve stuff, right? So one's belief could be, you could think you believe in something, and in the next 3 to 4 weeks or into January, that belief could get tested. especially if you have planets in mutable degrees here. I'm just going to give you a clue. I'm a 20-degree Gemini sun. You could see what's happening here with me. So who knows? Everything I'm saying here in 3 weeks, I might say the complete opposite. Maybe I should do a live stream where I look back on this stream and see if I'm called bullshit on myself. So anyway, for me, I'm looking at fabrication and what's real and what's not real. And I don't think it can be determined at this point. I think it could be determined, though, in the next 2 months, though. And I think a vision inherently, the basis of this, it'll be stronger for it. And so I'm not trying to quell the fires of Sagittarius energy. If you have Sag energy and you're like, I've had a year, and mind you, let's remember, it's at the end of the year. So there's always this thing at the end of the year of hope, right? Or what the next year is going to be as we say goodbye to the past year. But I try not to put myself, at least personally, in a place of that kind of time structure. A lot of times for me, the beginning of the year is really happening at the first new moon or whatever that's happening next year. Whatever the case is, that's me. That's what I believe in. So I could break this chart down a little bit more, but I just want you to recognize that, and I'll say hi to chat here, that, remember, Neptune's a big part of this. Jupiter is a part of this, obviously. And then the little sneaky guy that Mercury is going over Sagittarius degrees, which in a couple days from now, you see 20 degrees sun here. We know in a couple days here, in a day and a half, the sun is going to be at 22 degrees Sagittarius. That is the stationary point, by the way, that Mercury, they call it shadow, or Mercury down the line when it stops going backwards on January 1st is going to be at 22 degrees Sagittarius. And I'm going to get to the details of this, but I just want to point this out. Can one's belief, from their personal realm, and what drives them out socially, like out into the world, how does it interact with those other beliefs, right? And in the end, we're dealing with potentials here. So potential is good. Hope is good. Buoyancy is good. We need this as human beings, especially at the toughest times, right? We need the buoyancy. But we have to be careful not to get carried away by buoyancy and the exaggeration that could happen with a certain lunation like this. And we want something to be something. It takes work, it takes steps, and it takes evaluation. And I'm going to say, fortunately, we have a Mercury retrograde and its aspects that we'll make along the way, which I'm going to show you now, that I think helps this out in the end. But you have to gauge this and understand that retrograde stuff's going to happen along the way. And some of your dream might feel shattered or thrown off course. But you have transits coming up here that will actually, maybe you find a different dream, or you're tweaking the current one you have and letting go and shedding actually possibly certain beliefs that you've had, or in a certain narrative, a certain story in a Sagittarius part of your chart, or the mutable parts of your chart that come into play. And if you could take the outer view, this is where we turn the Sagittarius angle thing out on itself. We take the outer view of this, then we can find the benefits, tweak the things, let go of some of the other things that we have that aren't functioning when it comes into what we believe or what we're aspiring to and where we want to go. And take from the subconscious to the conscious and back and forth, okay? So there is my little something. Just want to say to everybody in chat, I see some new people in there. Let's get to it. This is going to be really different for me to do this way. But let's get to the next stage, because so pretty much here, we are looking at the new moon. We're going to go, I'll do this in a way here. We see here now at 11:09 Pacific, that's when Mercury actually stations here. Retrograde stations right here at 8 degrees. We want to make note of this point here, 8 degrees. You already see the moon here is already at 25, so on and so forth. All right. So we are going to go to... I'll do that in a second here. I have sort of a timeline in front of me and I'm already confused. We are going to go to the 18th of December. And here's the reason why. Okay. So, this is where I want you to maybe take notes. And we are going to go to here on Jupiter, the 18th here of December, which is 6:27 a.m. the 18th. The reason is, as I'm looking at the next Mercury aspect that's going to happen. Okay, so we are going to go take a look at where Mercury is in the chart right now, and we are at 5 degrees now. You see Mercury's going backwards. And here is also retrograde Jupiter in Taurus at 5 degrees. We have a Mercury Jupiter trine that's happening here. And this should seem familiar to you because this already happened, if I'm correct. And let me do that. We'll go to... Oh, I wish I could do that, and I can't. So this is December 18th that you see on the screen, and you look at December 7th here. This was December 7th, 8:08 Pacific, and this is when we had our first Mercury-Jupiter trine. You could see it was Mercury obviously was in retrograde yet. This is several days ago, and you see here at 6 degrees we had the first clue. Jupiter giving buoyancy, this Earth-based trine to Mercury. We dig it, right? We have it, but there's something that was set in play here before we even get to the new moon today, okay? This is why we want to keep track of Mercury, because it's went through Sag into Capricorn. It's going to do the same thing a bunch of times. So here's the first day. It was December 7th, where we had Mercury-Jupiter trine. And then we go to the next one that's going to happen here on the 18th. Now Mercury's retrograde. It's reviewing this connection that it did with Jupiter, this transactional thing, this nice grounded Earth-based, like compartmentalized, organic way of constructing something. We know Capricorn likes to build upon something. It needs a container. It needs to crystallize things in order for things to become matter, become real. And Jupiter in Taurus gives the buoyancy to this, possibly gives some of its coin, literal coin to this, to back the venture that Mercury in Capricorn is on. But here we see that Mercury's retrograde, and it's already got its first point of review. It's already but it's not like a bad reality check, but it's got its first point of review, right? So we're checking this, and we're going to point out that here we see a Pisces moon, right? That's happening that day. And we still have Venus and Scorpio that's happening. And as you can see, building towards an opposition that's happening with Uranus. So you Scorpio people, you know you're my people. Everything that just happened this past weekend with the Jupiter-Venus story, Venus and Scorpio, guess what? More chapters are coming your way, and this is a biggie. This is where it gets set off wild, right? So just know, I'm just pointing this out. Venus opposite Uranus is building, but we're only really here to look at, I'm just trying to stick to Mercury stuff, a Mercury-Jupiter trine that happens right back and forth here. And that happens on the 18th. We are going to go in order, and then I will throw some graphics up. Next, that's why I told you to get a pen and pad. Next, we are going to go towards the next Mercury interesting aspect it's going to make. And it's going to be, you see what I'm doing here? On the December 21st, we're going to go look at Mercury. Now at 2 degrees Capricorn. And we're looking at Saturn. Where's Saturn here? At 2 degrees, we have a harmonious sextile that happens between Earth and water. The reason why I'm showing you in this order is to keep track of what's been happening with Mercury the last couple weeks and what's happening here with the new moon and its imprint and its connection to Sagittarius stuff, which will play out here. But I want you to see here off the bat, Mercury has some interesting review and reevaluation help from Jupiter, and then runs into Saturn and Pisces to kind of like start to tweak things and to not to contain things per se, but like to show the standards that are needed, the standards that are involved, the rules that should be in place for these things to happen for Mercury, right? And mind you, Mercury's still going retrograde, it's going backwards. So we have a nice harmonious sextile here, right? And we have to remember, since I'm going to do it this way, we have to remember the last time this happened. And this was December 2nd when we had Mercury here at 1 degree Capricorn, and we go to Saturn here, 1 degree Pisces. So this is the second time now, within a short period of time, that we've had the Mercury sextile Saturn connection. Okay, so you could see now how there's chapters to a story. For those of you watching, you know how I like to do this shit with chapters. It gets heady. I understand. We're learning. I also want to point out here at this moment that Angela M. just threw a super chat tip on me for 777 777 lucky 7. Thank you, Angela M, for the donation. It really helps. Angela M, basically, if you're watching on desktop, under the chat window, hit the money symbol where you can donate. If you're on chat on mobile, you could do the same thing. It really helps me on the channel, and it helps me actually buy pieces of software and gear so I can keep doing this at a higher level. That is my Mercury Saturn moment since we're talking about it. Here's December 2nd. Hello, Eric. I see you in chat too. Here's December 2nd. We went back here. We have a Mercury Saturn sextile that happened. And here's the second time to review. On the 21st, we have Mercury sextiling Saturn again. Pretty good, huh? Aries moon, by the way, that day. We could see this with Chiron as always. And just to point out, there's Venus and there's Uranus opposite of each other, right? A potent day, a potent 24 to 48 hours. Why? Because if you're paying attention to this chart, you're looking at something, you're seeing something, and you're looking at the last day of Sagittarius birthdays at 29 degrees. Okay, so make a note of that. Officially at 4:33 a.m. on December 21st, Mercury retrograde sextile Saturn in Pisces. And it is the next day. Actually, no, it is that night at, it seems like I'm doing a monthly forecast, but I kind of am, and I had to do it this way. And here we have, here at the sun in Capricorn, then it's within hours that we have the sun moving into Capricorn at 0 degrees from 29, like we just saw and mentioned. And we're making a note of this. Happy solstice at this point. This is when it goes down. It will be the solstice on the 22nd in other parts of the world. An important marker, a huge important marker in general whenever we have a seasonal change. That's how we live our lives. That's how astrology is based on 12 months, 4 seasonal markers, cardinal markers. Here comes the Capricorn birthdays. You see still, Mars is still in Sagittarius. We still have a opposition that's still happening between Venus and Uranus, but we want to make a point of this, right? And we also notice when this happens that the moon is in Taurus, and there's a beautiful moon-sun trine that's happening here when the solstice happens. So let's take, I know I said certain things here, what this video is going to be about, but now you see why I'm doing this. There's just so many interesting little pieces here on these days that deal with Mercury. But here we have the solstice, so on and so forth. So that's the 22nd at, no, excuse me, that goes into the 22nd, 7:27 p.m. Pacific, the 21st, which is the 22nd on other parts of the world. When we do get to the 22nd, the next day, here I'm going to go into an aspect here. You already see what I'm building towards. You're already understanding here that the next day we have 10:54 a.m. Pacific. We now have an important and one of the most fundamental parts of the Mercury retrograde cycle, and it's when Mercury is conjunct the sun here at 0 degrees, which is a degree of the solstice that happened hours before. I just love stuff like this. I love when there's combinations of aspects in certain parts in astrology, because it just adds flavor and spice to it. It also can bring confusion. But how we started this, the buoyancy and the optimism. We have that stuff here of Sagittarius, Neptune. Can you trust the whole thing or not? But we are thankful for Mercury's retrograde going through Capricorn, and for the solstice moment, it touching Jupiter in Taurus, it touching Saturn in Pisces, and it having its moment with the sun here. This is the sweet spot in the retrograde cycle. It's always the midpoint. Send the email that day. Send the newsletter out that day. There could be plenty of newsletters coming out from people anyway. That particular morning, if you think about this on the Pacific end. So it's like, basically, I already know what I'm going to send out, okay? So, but we do this in the conjunct moment. There's the cazimi, they call it part. There's different names for whatever, more sweet spot. But this is what happens here, okay? So we want to make note of this. An interesting day, an interesting beginning of the season and solstice. A winter solstice for those in the northern hemisphere. Summer solstice for those in the summer hemisphere. And I'm going to make a Mercury retrograde prediction for myself here. I see myself on a plane, and I'm going to the southern hemisphere. I don't know exactly when it is, but it's calling me, and I need to know. I need to know and shoot my star that way. I need to go travel over there. I need to, there's something calling me about that place, the people. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to be a bunch of Australian Greeks or something. Don't know what it is. Maybe there's a Greek bakery on the Gold Coast. I don't know. I need to go and I need to find out. Anyway, so that is what's happening on the 22nd, a Mercury Sun conjunction that's going to happen exactly at 10:53 a.m. And it's like 12 hours later that we have something on the same day, at least according to where I am, where we now have a, because you notice 0 degrees Mercury, right? And now we go, oh, wait a second, Nicholas. It's not going to happen this way. Why they got to play me that way? Why they got to play? It's the software. As you can see what I'm trying to do. So, that's the 21st. I'm going to do it manually. So here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Am I doing this right? Yep, I'm going to go. And we're basically looking, here's the conjunction. You could see it here. And I'm looking for when Mercury is going to ingress at 29 degrees Sagittarius at 10:17 p.m. on the 22nd. Now, we're going to start doing Sag stuff here back again. And I think this is critical here because now you could see when I'm making this video in the next 8 days that's going to happen with the Sagittarian degrees from 20 to 29 degrees that Mercury's about to hit it again. And here is actually where we have an interesting part of the retrograde. And I will keep doing that. So anyway, I'm going to take a break here in a little second to do a quick acknowledgement of the chat. I have a lot of information. That's why I'm going. So we're going to go to the next particular thing. We just acknowledged the solstice, and we are going to go to something here that is incredible. As always, I got to come up with better Sagittarius adjectives. I actually have a book on like that, actually. Anyway, so we're going to go here. And you could see, you'll see what I'm working on here. And now we get into an interesting place because on the 26th here of into the 27th, we're now back in Sagittarian realm with Mercury. And we see here Mercury is at 25 degrees at this point. It's coming up with Mars. Mars is going to move forward a day. Mercury is going to go back. So we're going to have a Mercury-Mars conjunction that's going to happen here. But it's squaring Neptune in Pisces here. So we're back at the square place. We're back at the square that we have today with Neptune at the degree that it's at. If I'm correct, it's at 24 degrees today where Neptune is. Neptune's taking a degree forward, but you could see here we're entering the realm of this week and today where this lunation is happening. We're getting closer to it. And here's where we have more this is over the top now where we are going to like, what was the truth? And Neptune here can throw some of that off again with Mercury Neptune. Now, saying that, this happened before. And it happened here, as we note, November 27th. I know I'm going back and forth. You stick with me. When November 27th, when Mercury at 24 degrees Sagittarius made its first square to Neptune. And this is where I remember I don't know why I talked about this on the video or whatever. I was just like, I'm not about this. And you could see the reason why. So we're going back to this point here at the end of November and December. This is critical. So when you're paying attention into the next month, that you're going to have to go back to these times and to keep your notes, to make your notes. We're trying to dial in what is true and not true for yourself. We're trying to understand what you believe in, whether you still believe it or not. We're trying to understand to see if we have a particular story in the Sagittarius parts of a chart or mutable parts of a chart that you've been sold on something, or you sold somebody else on something, and you brought it with a cheerleading attitude, saying it's going to be great and everything else. And again, the final product could be that way. But if you're doing it to yourself and you find yourself off, you have Neptune signatures going on here. And if you're having these conversations with other people and vice versa, what is the truth? And if you're reading an internet comment section and people are getting hyped up and all of a sudden on a crusade with what they believe in, this is where the Sagittarius stuff crosses the line. And this is where it goes too far out. And it does it in multiple places and multiple angles, and it's not concrete. It loses. It's dissolving, and Neptune dissolves. Here's November 22nd. Here is December 26th, right after that holiday. We have it again. We have Mercury, and now it's pumped up by Mars, which is Mars is pumped up by this new moon today. So you could see how things are coming back. That's why I want structure. That's why I want to step out. That's why we're questioning our own belief, our own mission, our own quest, and we can. Or we're questioning others, or we got roped in and sold into something. And so this is why, for me, I'm a little bit more cynical about things, because I'm seeing the multiple things that Mercury's doing and Sag energy is doing. 25-degree square with Mercury and Mars. Okay? Canada Dry, thank you. Thank you. Gracias para la propina, Canada Dry. Okay? Abrazos. Okay, thank you, Canada Dry, for the 999 super chat tip. You rock. So there you go. So that happens on the 26th of late, or the 27th. Something else I'm going to point out here in this chart, by the way, because I can't help it, is that Chiron stations to go forward after being retrograde for a long time. Chiron's going to do its station on that day and start to move forward. So let's keep going. It happens to be the next, I got to hurry here a little bit more because this is dragging a little bit in my mind, but that's just my mind. We're going to point out something here, which we already saw happening here in this chart. And it is the next day, where Mercury, December 27th, Mercury officially is conjunct Mars. Man, are the preachers out? The preaching. Got to understand. And you got to be thankful it's Capricorn birthdays. But the preaching's happening, and Neptune is still involved here, squaring this. So make note of this. We're in between holidays in the Northern Hemisphere if you celebrate here. We're on our way to New Year's, and we got a lot of things are off kilter, not on schedule anyway for many people. So they're at family gatherings and stuff. I can't even imagine the conversations. You imagine if someone has to go back and see their family, and they're going back, and let's say they're not Christian and they grew up in a Christian family, got to go back and people are still praying at the table or some shit, and then they got to sit there, and then what happens? You add politics into this? We haven't even talked about the political end of Sagittarius stuff, about belief and about justice and what happens with courts and how laws are constructed into then the Capricornian realm, from Jupiter to Saturn, how beliefs are constructed into rules and law. I mean, I haven't even talked about this, but this is part of it too, okay? So So, we just heads up here. This is interesting that this all happens after the Mercury Sun conjunction, because a lot of times when you have the Mercury cazimi happen, you're thinking it's smooth sailing, but it isn't per se. You have an inkling in a something that's concrete that you want to hold on to. And you want to go back to the Jupiter, Trine, Mercury, and Earth signs, to the Saturn and Pisces, sextile Mercury that we saw, right? We want those things. We have to remember and pull those things with us during these particular transits. So we want to say this. Let's also point out. I just want to point out here. I just want to point out that we're not done with the Venus and Scorpio transit. God, you're so hot. God. Venus and Scorpio, I see and feel your passion. You get always something special when I do my live streams. I do this because we could. The 27 degrees, by the way, was the degree in 2001 where the eclipses started happening to Scorpios and their life started to change hardcore. Okay, so it's like now we are at this point several years later, and Venus is here. And we had Mars go through and do the cazimi and the conjunction. We had Mercury did this whole thing, and here is all Venus over here. Here's Venus and Scorpio. You send me the secret note. I will meet you in the secret place, and we will have our secret conversation. And I will look you in the eyes. I will kiss your scars. And we will celebrate your journey. There's no one that does it like you. And I've seen everything, and I've heard your stories. I think your scars are hot. Let us seal and solidify our engagement. I want to wish my Scorpio people a happy new year coming up for you all. I want to give that to you, and I want to say that to you. You all get a bad rap. When you are dialed in, you come from your heart, the true power place, and find that one-on-one connective relating thing, person, situation that is healthy, that's the big love, the passionate place, the pure vulnerable place. As I mentioned, we have the Mars-Neptune square that happens on the 27th into the 28th officially. We're going to have a Venus sextile Pluto. And it's pretty much on the 29th that Venus will go into Sagittarius. Let's keep going. And actually, let's just do this. Because let's just point out here the 30th. That we see now Venus is in Sagittarius. We're looking at Mercury now. We're looking at something here. See, Mercury's at 22 degrees now at this place. It's kind of slowing down here, past through Mars, but we want to focus on something else. And it's here with Jupiter and Taurus stationing out of its retrograde on the 30th into the 31st. Jupiter is going to start to move forward eventually here, but we have a stationary point, mega place here. Along with Mercury stuff that's happening, you see what's happening within weeks here with all the little intricate things that are happening. We have to point out Jupiter and Taurus stationing retrograde. which is sweet from an end of the year, New Year's perspective, right? Which is interesting because it's Jupiter and it rules this new moon that we're having right now in Sagittarius, and it rules, the Mercury in Sagittarius and rules the Mars in Sag. So it's like we have this interesting moment here. Not everything is perfect. Not everything there is the vision involved. We're still trying to figure it out and stuff through the garbage, the exaggerated garbage. But we do have a little bit of something, a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a stopping place for Jupiter now, because we know here for months now, Jupiter's going to do its thing. It's going to power through. It's not going to go retrograde again, by the way, in Taurus. It's going to push through all the way to Gemini when we get to the end of May and the beginning of June. So you know that in your head now, that Jupiter is stationing forward at the end of the year. This is like, all right, let's do it. For those Taurus risings, for those Taurus people, those Scorpio people, you see what's happening here? And it's ruling the Sag stuff we see in this chart. That's what's happening there. Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. So let me get to my notes. Jagger Waters, thank you for the first super chat you've given me on this live stream. I actually feel honored. I want to thank you, Jagger, and for that, because I know here you mean it, and yes. And speaking of Mercury. For all those out there, whatever, Jagger, whoever, what we do with our minds when we're dialed in and we get through retrograde cycles and we review and we process and we take things apart and put them back together. When we come out of places like this, what we do with our mind, you could do anything. And that's the Sagittarius thing in there. You could do anything. You feel me? You catch that? So thank you. So anyway, let's keep going. I'm missing something here, aren't I? I'm looking at my notes. I talked about Mercury, Mars. We talked about, let's go to the next one. That's why I wrote a timeline. I was up late last night doing this shit. And so we're going to go to the next day. Oh, by the way, here's the 31st. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And here we are, and we're going to do it the right way here. And so we're going to go there at 7:07 p.m. Pacific into January 2nd. For those in the other world, Mercury then is going to station and stop its retrograde cycle at 22 degrees. And this is why we are looking at things in important wise. The last time this happened was November 25th to 26th, where Mercury was at 22 degrees Sagittarius. We're at this point again. We go all the way back to like Thanksgiving time, basically, for those who celebrate that time. And, it's November 25th and 26th when Mercury was last at 22. And here we are on January 1st. So within days, we have Jupiter moving forward, Mercury moving forward at the beginning of the year. I remember last year when I did a stream where I was talking about the transits on the video, we had a bunch of other stuff happening at this time, and it wasn't moving forward with planets retrograde and stuff until February. I remember this. Here we have this feeling a little bit more than the last couple years. We don't have a Venus retrograde that we had in Capricorn doing its Pluto stuff. We actually, we're okay here, sort of. There is no Venus or Mars retrograde, right? Beginning of the year. So we have Jupiter moving forward, and we have Mercury stationing forward at the beginning of the year. Are we out of things? No, but interesting. It starts this way. So if one were to aspire and to do that, we had some review process for those 3 weeks there, right? And I know I missed a lot of other transits in between. I couldn't touch upon that stuff. But what we see here, though, is something like, all right, there's some buoyancy here, right? There's some stuff moving forward, okay? So let's point out, though, let's just be real, that Saturn's in Pisces is at 3 degrees, and we have a Venus-Saturn square in Sagittarius. We're just pointing that out. I don't want to go too much on this, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. All right, you think we're done? We're not, because now we must keep going, and this is where I'm going to speed up, okay? So now We're going to go to a particular point in time, and it's going to be here on January 8th. We are going to have the third 25-degree Mercury in Sagittarius, the third square that we've had with Mercury and Neptune, the final one, happens. And now, are things still foggy with Neptune and Mercury in Sagittarius here? I think they can be, but considering what we've gone through, we have a little bit more dialed in vision and movement. It doesn't happen fast, but there's a little bit of a pothole here. There's a little bit of a metaphorical spiritual pothole that we have to like maneuver with Neptune Mercury here. And the third time this is happening now. So, but at least Mercury's moving forward, but I'm just giving it to you. I'm giving it to you of like what you understand here. Can you take the third square of Neptune Mercury and blend and come out of the challenge of the square? And you can dream a little bit here, but considering what happened during the retrograde, you're realistic. Be realistic about that now. So this, in one way, you can look at this and say, have fun with it, right? I haven't talked about buoyancy and fun this whole time because Sagittarius like to have the wind in their face and their cheeks get red and they're skiing down the mountain type of shit. And so it's like, you know, you get to have some of this here, I think. You still got to be careful. But since you've done it twice, you already know, right? So we're keeping track of this. By the way, it's heated, though. It's heated because the moon is there. So you see what's happening here. Got it. We'll be careful of the overinflation and the long-winded exaggerations, but we also can take the bigger perspective. And let's remember that part of it, okay? Azure, oh man, you guys, today, you guys, Azure and Super Chat, I feel like we needed 888 for that Scorpio monologue, but it's only allowing 999. Really? It doesn't allow you to do 888? Because 888 is complete scorpionic number. Along with that, Azure, thank you. You made me laugh. Thank you, Azor, and for the donation and the super chat. That will be. I will use that towards a book. It's going to be towards a book. So thank you again. Thank you, Azor. So anyway, you see what's happening on the 8th here, and Violet at Contique Boutique. I don't worry about it. People are broke. I don't expect people to do it. They got money, whatever, you know. It's all good. So that's January 8th. Got to keep going here. It's a lot. I have a lot on the stream. We got to go into this place, which is basically we're going on an ingress, and we're going Mercurial Hermes ingress into there, and it's on the 13th where we are finally back at Mercury in Capricorn now, coming out of the retrograde. We have this. You see what's happened here. We're going over the review process, the places and degrees that Mercury went over before, and then the retrograde happened. Here's the third time. Now we're hitting Mercury in Cap. Remember, this is the point. This is the 0-degree point where we had the Mercury-Sun conjunction, the cazimi, that happens on the solstice at 0 degrees. Sort of like a double solstice moment here, but we have this here at 0 degrees. We're making a note of this. 6:49 p.m. Pacific, the 14th for people on the other side of the world. Do I see anything else in this chart? I do. Let's just point out something here, that Pluto is at 29 degrees Capricorn the whole time. And Mars now is in Capricorn. Venus is at 18 degrees. Eventually, we'll make a mutable square with Neptune. Down the line, I must keep going. And I owe a chat. I owe you a chat check-in. All right, let's keep going. We're going to get to January 18th. That's why you see I take notes. I am also going to show you stuff on screen here really quick. We're going to go to Mercury here, and it's going to be sextile Saturn. Here on the 18th, we have a Mercury sextile Saturn again. Here at 4 degrees Mercury, and we have Saturn at 4 degrees. We have this beautiful sextile. Now you see coming out of the retrograde, Mercury squared Neptune, but it's moving forward, and it gets to have the solidification happen with Saturn and Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, by the way. It is Jupiter and Taurus. That's a major factor in the new moon while I'm making this video. Now you could see how we could take the Sagittarius structure and story and vision and quest that it's on, the belief that we've sifted through, and the adventure now that we're on. Even though Mercury's in Capricorn, we take this adventure and we start to solidify it, okay? We have Venus that just went over the degrees here at 2223 of where the Mercury station happened. You see this happening here. Things are moving now. Things are moving and solidifying. We thank Capricorn, and we thank a Saturnian-based sign like Capricorn to solidify and crystallize the outward limitless vision of Jupiter. This is how you work the two things hand in hand, and why we're grateful for the Sagittarius into Capricorn birthdays. You could see, and we have Mercury, the guide, to show us how to do this during a retrograde thing. Have you noticed I've not really talked negatively about the Mercury retrograde? I don't want to. I actually think this whole thing is really good. It's really cool. It's just utilizing it and understanding and maybe incorporating it into your belief system. So we have this here on the 18th at 4 to 5 degrees at 12:49 p.m. Pacific. We have the third Mercury sextile Saturn aspect that we've had during this journey. Okay, so here we go. Let's keep going. We're going to go to the next day, and let's make it exact so you could see what I'm doing in different ways here, so you can get it into your brain. You see I'm hitting Trine and I'm hitting Jupiter, and it's the next day at January 19th. We have now Mercury at 6 degrees. Where's my annotator? 6 degrees, and Jupiter, which stationed forward, remember, on this December 30th. Let me find Jupiter right here at 6 degrees, and they are making a harmonious trine with each other. I know what I'm doing here that's driving me wild, and I don't like this. Give me a second. Don't I have blank? There we go. I should have been doing this the whole time. So here, let's do it again. 6 degrees, 6 degrees Jupiter. They are making a trine, which is a triangle. Is that a triangle? It's a bad triangle. And so we have the third Mercury trine Jupiter aspect we're dealing from November, December till now. And the way we started the retrograde, we started this thing, like where we are right now. Mercury's going to station retrograde tonight while I'm making this video. And you saw the beginning of the transits, its connection to Saturn. We just had some of that. We have it with Jupiter now. So in the beginning, at the end of this Mercury fascinating run, we got these amazing aspects with Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, ruler of Pisces too. And we have this. And we have another stage in the story where we now corralled this story with Mercury, with Sagittarius, and it's actually becoming matter. It's becoming real, and it can become real. Like the steps are taken on this vision and quest, and are no longer are we standing on the new moon vantage point, the expansive vantage point that we're standing upon on this cliff overlooking where we're going to go. We're on this quest. You're on the Lord of the Rings quest. I just started playing God of War on my PS4. There's that weird quest. I could pick whatever video game or novel that you want, TV show. There's always the big scenic wide shot. If you ever played Legend of Zelda, not Tears of a Kingdom, but the one before. Anyway, I can't remember the name right now, but there's the beginning scene where you come out and you're overlooking and you see the different worlds that you know you have to go to at this point, and it's clear, but you don't know exactly what's there. You know you have to get there, but it's along the way stuff happens. Remember this about Sagittarius stuff. We see the archer in shooting for, and it's the point. But it's along the way. That's the point, actually. The point is the journey and along the way on the quest. You hear this all the time. It's like, it's the knowledge and the truth and the incorporation of truth into your belief systems, and what you do when you travel along the way, and how you run into other people's truths, and whether you debate or argue and war over that shit, or you're sitting around a fire and you're drinking some yummy meat or something, and like you share beliefs. And you come to a certain belief with each other. And this is where we dig earth signs like this and in aspects here, because we can do that. And so we can sit in the Taurus garden in the Capricorn, and we can enjoy some and to have a healthy, grounded way of expressing our quest or living our quest. And again, it's along the way. So I'm ranting now. So that is happening on January 19th, 1:30 a.m. Pacific. the third Mercury Venus or Mercury Trine Jupiter aspect. Keep going. Let me point this out. I had to do this one because basically when we're on the, let me do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is January 26th, by the way. I want to point this out. I didn't give this too much screen cred, but we're looking at this newly forward Chiron, and we're looking at Mercury here with Mars and Capricorn, a conjunction that's making a square to this Chiron. This is an important moment in the Chiron story. If you're going through a Chiron return, if you have anything in Aries, in mid degrees here like this is kind of a hardcore reality check. It can be in the coldness of Mercury's words with Mars and Capricorn there. It's like, come on, let's do this. You've been tending to your wounds long enough. Bring this out. And then Chiron and Aries is a little raw about it, but Chiron and Aries has done a lot of work the last 2 years with the eclipses and everything, and will in the springtime. Telling you, it's part of the major eclipse, by the way, another video. But we're paying attention to this. I just wanted to point this out because of what Mercury's doing, and we're going to keep going, and I'm almost done with this. You're hanging in there with me, and I can't talk to chat. I'm sorry because of what I'm doing. We're going to actually go, and you can already see it building here. Let's just go the next day. Well, let's just do it right. At 6:58 a.m., January 27th, Pacific time, we have pretty much the official Mercury-Mars conjunction that happens at 17 degrees. We're also going to point out that Mercury and Mars are squaring the nodes here in cardinal signs. If those of you are affected by eclipses in cardinal sign stuff here, this is a hardcore week that happens. It's not easy because we're dealing with cardinal squares here. We got a fresh Mercury, but with Mars and Capricorn, where it loves to do its work and belong there, it does have a Chiron nodal element here. And there's just a certain cold Saturnian harshness to it all, okay? So I just want to point that out on the way to our eclipses in March. And I'm almost done. I have 2 things to show you here. We get past this, and this is important in my mind, is because we're going to go all the way to basically Mercury being done, and we're just going to do it my way. We're going to go here to the second, where Mercury is at 25 degrees, and it makes its sextile to Neptune. Now, after it did squares, you saw the squares that happened with Mercury in Sagittarius the whole time during the retrograde and stuff, the 3 that happened. Then it actually makes a sextile aspect. It's earth and water, which is an opportunistic aspect. They have something to offer each other. Neptune at this point is not delusional. It's not trying to play tricks. It's actually given buoyancy, and this Jupiterian and Taurus rules the Neptune vision to Mercury here. And we kind of get to end this Mercury journey with a Neptune aspect that I really like. You writers out there, you have something like Mercury in Sag and Mercury in Capricorn. This is a grounded way and a Capricornian way for them to expand. They never get to do stuff like this, right? So you see what's happening with Mars and Mercury here and Neptune with the sextile aspect. We want to take note of this after the whole journey of why I've done this video, right? What this is. At the tail end, we have an amazing Mercury sextile Neptune. Beautiful Neptune. Where the veils are thin and the secrets come through. And it's there where the inspiration, what comes from transcendence and what we bring back into the earth plane, comes through Mercury and Capricorn and Mars, and it accelerates the work and the mountain climbing that Capricorn is doing. But they get to breathe that clean oxygen air, that dream they're aspiring to and going to. Neptune is there to carry the vision along, and I think in a more healthy way, a more realistic way, in a way that Capricorn needs. So, and I'm almost done here, and I got a lot to check up on chat, and I apologize, y'all, but you see what's going on here. And we're going to finish it up by here. On the 4th, we're going to look and Mercury here at 28 degrees, you could see here, right? But this isn't really why I'm showing you this. It it is, where did I write this? I got this. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to do it the right way. If this allows us to do it. It better. No. There. Let's make a point of the 20th. I went too far. Let's just make a point of this. I forgot to get to this. Let's just point this out. Bonus here. This is the 20th I'm going back to. This is Scattered Nicholas. I've been doing pretty good with all the data here going in order, but I messed up on this one. But we're going to pay attention to the 20th of January. Why? That's the day Pluto goes into Aquarius. We're back here again, and it's the day the sun goes in Aquarius. Okay? And we're just making a note. At this point, yes, we're making a note of that. Okay? So let's get back to my final deal. We're going to go all the way to, let's do it this way. We're going to go, February 4th, where Mercury now enters Aquarius and leaves Capricorn, and pretty much leaves the story of Sag Capricorn that we're doing. Fundamental day here. We dig this. You can already see what I'm pointing to here on the chart. That the day it leaves Capricorn, it just runs into Pluto. Right? No joke here. Mercury's walking through the gates of Pluto right here. And if you're paying attention, soon enough, Mars will do it. Venus will do it. And that is coming our way. And that is a whole nother something else. It's one of my fascinating favorite parts of the year will be February. Not even talking about the eclipses of March and everything else. February is fascinating to me. It's fascinating because Venus is chasing Mars the whole time and getting closer and closer. And what we're going to have in February is a major Venus-Mars conjunction that's going to happen in Aquarius, 6 degrees, I think it is. But first, they have to run through Pluto. So any of you I've done readings with that have this Pluto signature 0 degrees fixed, I pay attention here. I am done with this. I just threw a lot of information out at you. I want to sum it up this way, and I will get to chat. That the first Mercury square Neptune in Pisces happened on the 27th. The second one you see is on the 27th, so on and so forth. That's what's up with Mercury square Neptune and Pisces. I'm putting this up for people watching later on the video. Let's go to the next one. You see when Mercury sextiles Saturn and Pisces 3 times, the 2nd, the 21st, and the 18th. These slides will be up on the video for later. You see the 3 Mercury trine Jupiter and Taurus. That happens the 7th of December, 18th, and then the 19th. You see the important degrees that are involved. Mercury conjunct Sun on the solstice on the 22nd. Mercury enters Sag the same day. Retrograde. Mercury was stationed direct. Happy New Year's Day. 22 degrees Sag. And you could see here Mercury same day and comes back in to Sagittarius in its retrograde cycle. Hence the huge review period. And that's it with there. And that's a slow fade. And damn, I didn't... Then I'm going to get to chat. That was long. I had to do it, though. I had to do it this way. And I have to chapter mark this. Ah, man. Oh, do I have so much chat to go through? Keywords. Mars. Strength. Courageousness. Discord. Defiance. Remember this with Mars here with the new moon. That's happening. And I know I skipped a lot of stuff, But here we are. I'll bring this back. No, that's not it. It's display captured there. Here we are back at the new moon today. Happy new moon, by the way. We look at, to go back to how we started on this quest of information overload, is here at 20 degrees. Courage, defiant, discord, Mars, strength, pushing the vision and the beliefs and the moral judgments of Sagittarius. Neptune involved with the possible fabrication and dissolving what's real, what's not real. That's why I don't trust all this. The long-winded exaggerations of Jupiter, or excuse me, of Sagittarius. We do have, and we cannot forget the motivations involved with Sagittarius, how it's motivated. Sorry, I'm tripping right now. What am I doing? There. I'm having a moment. That's the one I want. I'm having a moment, and to sum it all up, we're under a huge review period when it comes to our beliefs and motivations and where they come from our subconscious here in the next 2 months, and we have a chance to really dial it in, but you could see how it can get off kilter. We want to be clear in our communication, as always in Mercury retrogrades. We want to have things lined up. Use Saturn and Jupiter at the right times, okay? And go slow. Go slow with stuff. But it shouldn't stop your motivation for your quest. And in the end, how I started to talk about all this has to do with testing our theory, our Sagittarius theory, our belief theory out in the world. And that theory will get tested, and it's under review. And by the time we get to the end of January into February, I think you will know about your theory and the clarity with it and what to do with it next. All right, so, man, oh, wow. I just went on I should have put this. I'm still going to do it. I don't know if you're going to see these timestamps, but I just I can't go back. I want to thank those who did Super Chat, and I want to acknowledge those I haven't been able to acknowledge on the stream. And it seems like you guys are being good. I'm going all the way back. I see D. Melvin, hello. Mark Anthony, good to see you, my pinball brother. And just, I know I'm missing somebody. A Muse, good to see you. Yasmina, hello. Amandita, Sarah Florin. I think I'm catching up to the back end of when I looked. BCB talked about a puddle portal. Oh, I'm sorry, BCB. Hopefully the puddle portal turns into something else for you. Catching up with this, and apologies for those watching. I know this can be the boring part. De La Vera Hoffman, good to see you. You're fashionably late to the party. That's all right. So that's all right. Shalom and salam to you. Erica, I said, what's up? How are you? Kay Michelle, I'm going really quick. I want to thank you again for those of you who dialed in a tip for me, Super Chat. And all right, I'm going to stop here for a second and take a breath while I look at this. You guys are being good. Canada Dry, what about the Leos? That's a Leo thing to say. Let me keep going here. I'm almost done. All right, I'm catching up. You all are being good in chat as always. Thank you for dealing with me today. I'm going to kind of wind down this stream and talk about a couple things. I want to point you to my world. I have to do my own call to actions for myself. And I'm just glad you guys are talking with each other, just especially during retrograde. And I'm almost there. And I'm there. Joe G, thank you. Thank you, Joe G, for sticking with me here on this one. And I had to do it. I just had to do this. A lot of information. Seeing my Australian people. Mercury retrograde streams would be rough for any Gemini. You did great. Thanks. Thank you, Angela. Do you notice when I do my streams, I always do them at the height of anything? I like to throw myself into the mix. Hey, Naselian, colleague, good to see you. Good to see you. And that's it. I've caught up. All right. So I just want to say there's this book I mentioned today. I also want to mention a couple things here before I leave. All right. And let's see if I get this right. Yeah, this is the deal. Okay, so I just added something onto my website, onto my readings. I'm about to add something else tonight. As you can see here, I have my regular readings. A lot of you took advantage of my Scorpio special. Thank you, by the way. I do read your homework emails. I don't know if I can catch up to all of them. There's a lot. I will try at certain points. I can't promise anything. I'm reading them. I added a service now to my world, and it's a package. Basically, you can buy 4 sessions at one time. You have 365 days to use them. You have a year. I've had clients over the last year ask me for something like this, like sort of a coaching thing, sort of a thing to move along. And so basically, I think my regular sessions for an hour, I don't know what I'm doing. It's all the way 180 for an hour-ish. Basically, session here is 600. You're getting a price break. You're almost getting. It's pretty. Like, I would say it breaks down to 150 really each one. I just went along and did this. To honor those clients who could do this, who wanted this. That basically means when you buy this, you'll get a code. You can book the sessions whenever you want. Hey, Jenny D, good to see you in chat. But I basically added this package last night. It will be there. Some of you who wanted to do this, who have asked me to do this, because you've come back or wanted to talk to me within a couple months, or even if it was a particular story or something that we were working on an electional basis with, you needed to sign a contract, you were going to buy a house, all those types of things. There's different ways a package like this can be used. Some of you would wanted me to teach you some, like you had a certain astrological concept that I knew about and you wanted me to talk about it with you in relation to your chart or something else. You could do whatever you want here in this type of thing, but you basically, I added the packages last night. You have a year to use them, and basically you'll get a code, and then you use that code to book whenever. And that's a huge thing for me to do, by the way. BCB with their first super chat. Thank you. Thank you, BCB, for your first super chat. I'm going to also use that towards a book. Actually, some of the money that you're donating today actually helps me pay for the upgrade service on Acuity I had to do this. I think tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to be adding gift certificates on here if you want to buy something for someone that you care about. And let me say something about this. I like it when people buy readings for people. But sometimes I've had incidences where they're buying things for people who don't want that. You got somebody who's talking to their boyfriend who just is like some stubborn and thinks this is all bullshit astrology, whatever, and they happen to be very Saturnian, and their partner or somebody's like buys them a reading and they show up, right? And then it's me having to prove shit to them. I'm not here to prove stuff to them, but even though I do like doing those readings sometimes, because sometimes they're like wondering, I start to ask me, how do you know that? And then they want to know. And it's like, well, you want to know that? Go study astrology for a year. You come back and you tell me whether it's real or not, and I'll respect your answer after that. Whatever the case with my rant is here, I'm adding gift certificates here the next 24 to 48 hours. And, and that's a big deal, for me to do. I didn't want to do things like that, but it's a good business thing for me to do. And I'm expanding my world and things are changing for me. And at the same time, knowing that I could do things in a different way helps me do sliding scale for other people down the line. So I added these packages. Jenny D. Thank you, Jenny D, for your first super chat. It is definitely a Sagittarius new moon type of donation that you've done. I appreciate you, Jenny D. That is so very kind of you. And I'm going to tell you one thing I'm going to do with that donation, Jenny D. Every year privately, I do things, the Aquarius side of me does things for other people. I just don't talk about it. I don't talk about it, but I do it privately. And in one way, all of your donations today and the donations of you, Jenny D, help me do my secret good in the world. Okay? So thank you. Thank you for that amazing, amazing donation. I'm gonna also get myself a falafel today, or an appetizer. I think I need to walk down after this for a happy hour somewhere, and thank you, and I thanks to all of you who come on here and go through these live streams with me, to the clients, to all the beautiful humans I've met this year, doing my astrology work on YouTube and my one-on-one consultations. The amazing complexity that you bring, and it's okay to be complex. All the unique, every single one of you unique individuals. I never get bored. It's like I come into a reading and I'm always excited because I know the transits. I just don't know how they play out. But to hear people's stories, and in the end, whether it's challenging or they're in predicaments, it always comes down to this thing in the end. Every single reading has this one signature. I'll tell you. It's sort of there's fears involved. And the reason is because a person knows what they want. They have their vision. They have their quest. Whether it's their whole life, the career part of their life with their family, their loved one, or the combination of all of them thereof. And a lot of times people get stuck because they're in fear of what people will think, or a person they could possibly hurt, or they're fear because they don't know how to take those steps in their life. And that's human, by the way. I just want to be clear. That is human. That's human. It's being on this planet. And so when people come in, and I know some of you are practitioners in your own right out there. And a lot of times we're just catching our own resistance, or we don't know how, or we never learned, and we got our habitual responses come up. But in the end, it's not really about the fear. It's about this beautiful something that we carry, and the beautiful thing and vision and quest that we see, and what we then truly in our hearts believe in, and how we want to aspire. We want those things to happen, or we want to correct things or build upon things. And sometimes it incorporates, you want to take those that you love with you on the quest. And so when I do client sessions and when I talk to you and stuff, inherently, it is the thing that strings everybody together. It's just a place of heart, and to dream and to want something good for yourself, or to be happy, to aspire to. And in these days, and it's always been this way since the beginning of time, apocalyptic, world-ending wars and shit, it's part of what being on this planet is. But we never want to lose sight of things could be better, change, or negotiations can happen, and people can find their sense of peace and happiness, and can never give up on stuff like that. And so when I see clients come to me, they're coming to me because they're not giving up on it. No matter how hard of a situation they're in, or how dark of a hole they're in, they made the step in the choice to try to find some insight or confirmation or recognition. And that is 100% hope. That is 100% buoyancy in the end, even if it doesn't feel that way. And it's like looking for the answer, or looking for the confirmation, or already knowing the answer. So I am more than fortunate to get to hear stories like this, or to have people here in the chat, or do whatever. And I'm not the only one. And for me, if I were to put any aspiration and dream out for me next year, right, for me, is that this continues for me, and that I bring in the tools for myself to handle those things, to do the best I can for you, whether it's on the live stream or on a session. That's my truth. I'm always looking to get better. But I'm fueled by my own personal goals. But the other half of it is fueled by you and your story. So I want to thank everybody here. I want to thank everybody in chat. today. What an amazing thing. I had something else I wanted to bring up. Yeah, I'm going to bring up this. And then I'm going to, I talk about it. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. Like, talk about a Jupiterian stream. We're doing it right now. And up on the screen here, you see something. I'm just going to let you know now, follow me on Instagram, because in the next week, I'm going to start showcasing people here locally that live in Portland, or people that I know, their businesses and what they do, small businesses, especially businesses that are women-run, women-owned. And here is one that is in Portland, and they're called the Raven's Wing. They're a store with candles. There are a bunch of witches running that shop. I have a history with that place. They're an actual co-op, and they're trying to stay alive. I'm going to tell you right now, small businesses in this country, especially those who are dealing with esoteric arts. You imagine now, a lot of us are doing this online. We're tarot card readers, practitioners, doing all modalities. We're bringing them and all that kind of stuff. And I want to say goodbye to those who can't stay on the stream. I'm almost done, but I want to say goodbye to Scorpion Muse and anybody else who's left. I know some people have to go. I'm winding down here too. But this is very important to me, and I'm going to point this out more on my Instagram stories and post here soon. But here is a particular shop here in town that I go to. I actually went to, they have many other events that they have. I'm going to keep the names off here. In their shop, they're trying to stay alive as a co-op, and an amazing group of people with an amazing community connected to it in Portland. If you feel called to help these people, $5, whatever, I try to spend my money there. I went to a Hekate balsamic ritual on Friday, which is always amazing. They have herbs there, candles, a lot of local magicians, witches there that have their stuff there. Support them, okay? I will also show you something else. I'm hitting the wrong thing. I just hit the wrong whatever. Hang on, and then I gotta go. I do have to go. I want to show somebody else this particular website. Let me do something here. Go find the Raven's Wing on Instagram. Go like them. Tell them I sent you. Tell them Sparkles did. I also want to showcase another person in the Portland area. Her is called Queen Meb. Erica. I don't know if she's still here on this stream. An amazing shop here, brick and mortar in Portland too. Again, the brick and mortar shops in the United States that are dealing, people, witches running and stuff, it's hard work. And more than ever, the resources they have had to try to survive, they're not there anymore because of governments, local governments, what people are doing with loans, what the banking system does, what banking systems and big corporations that deal with credit card transactions do to people who are witches, tarot card readers, astrologers. They won't give them loans. They won't give them financial resources. It's bullshit. And so for me, people are living paycheck to paycheck already, and people like this who open shops like Queen Meb, like Erica does, who has she makes her own stuff and also has other people that she supports in her shop. You could take a look at her collections there, her products. If you're in the Portland area, walk into the Raven's Wing shop, walk into Erica's Queen Meb shop. There's amazing stuff. I get my beeswax candles for my rituals from Queen Meb. Please follow them on Instagram. Also, I needed to do this. I needed to showcase these two particular shops. You could see they have tarot card readers, different practitioners that do their in-shop type of practices there. She's got pop-ups in her shop. Raven's Wing does too. I am just on the mission here. I don't want to just do this for the holidays, but we need to support each other in these places. The people in the occult world, esoteric world, that stop competing with each other and playing games and support each other, because people in this country or whatever, they'll do anything to stop us because they think we're evil and some shit. And we're not. We're doing good, using light and dark, and we're using powerful methods to help people. and we need to support each other and to purchase from each other and whatever. So there's Erica there. You could see her. An amazing person. That's where one of the first people I met here in Portland. And to go back to the Ravens Wing, they're having to GoFundMe. I should put this in the chat, shouldn't I? I'm not doing a good job here today with this, and I know exactly how to do this. And then I will shut the hell up because I've been rolling here on this live stream. Here is fundraiser for the Ravens Wing. And here is Queen Meb shop. She's out of the beeswax candles. She'll make more, by the way. And they burn so good. I love it. But she got so much other stuff. She makes salves and brooms. I mean, she's just like prolific, this person. Like, and then if you mention you want something, she'll tell you that she'll make it, you know. Okay, A Muse. I'm seeing a super chat from A Muse. Thank you. Wow. Hey Muse, thank you. Many thanks to you for your first super chat, and thank you for supporting the channel. I'm wow, what an interesting stream. I didn't know it was going to turn into this. Almost 2 hours. But here we are. Please take a look at these people's websites and their Instagrams and anything else. Sign up for the newsletters. I as always, you know, on my next streams, I will be supporting other people, and please follow me on my Instagram, which let me find it here. Fuck, what am I even doing this for? Long-winded stream I did today. For those of you hungover, here's my Instagram. Please follow me there. You know, thank you for the donations today, and let's end this stream. I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys in chat. Scorpio Muse, Lily Welch, everybody, Sharponda, thank you for holding down the chat in a positive way. Why do I have my face? I look possessed right there. I didn't even know I had this up there. Let me go back to this. Okay. Sarah Metlin, good to see you, Sarah. I know I saw you in a chat earlier. And yeah, let's support our people, huh? And even if anybody's local in your world and stuff, please go support your fellow practitioners, warlocks, witches, weirdos, esoteric, green, whatevers. You know, I'm all about it. So, yeah, I agree with you, Angela R., about the tax thing. Yeah, goodbye, Esmeralda. You literally changed my life with your... I just helped out, Esmeralda. You are changing your life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad to be witness to that. Totally. Yeah, there's some... Yeah, good night, everybody, and good day to everybody. Canada Dry. Give me another tip, girl. Thank you. Actually, that particular one I'm going to use next time I go to the shop, to the Ravens Wing. I'm going to get something else. I saw a book there that I wanted to get. Actually, I saw a book on their used shelf. It was Women Who Runs with Wolves, that famous book. I lost my copy. I need to get it. I saw it there. Thank you, Canada Dry. Thank you. And I hope your project is good. Okay, and let me do one more thing. Oh, shit. My thumbnail on this. You will see here that this is my the podcast that I did with Melissa LaFera on my channel. You can find it on a YouTube channel. Take a listen to that, so on and so forth. All right, we gotta say goodbye here, and I want to say thanks, and I've said that numerous times. Whew. All right, let me do something here as we say goodbye. I usually do some weird something, don't I? And let's see if I could. I don't know. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? This gonna work? Oh. Man, I'm looking. Whoa, wait a second. I can't do this one because. Hello? No, that's like I'm in a cavern with. Oh, that's too weird. That's too weird. It's too weird right there. It's too weird. We need to go out gentle today. We need to go out gentle because that's what I need. I need gentleness. I need gentleness and love. I need affection. I need sonic affection. I need something beautiful. Beautiful in the stream. And let's see if that's not going to work, is it? I need this. It's not working. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. We're going to get to that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Good night and good day. Whew. Man, that was a wild little live stream today. Man. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Got like no hair. Let's do this. Let me look out. Let me plug my finger in an electrical socket and let my hair do this. And let's say goodbye, okay? We'll do it right. I wish my thing was working. It's not. Well, maybe if I turn this up and go, wait, no. Does this work? Yeah. All right. Well, we want to thank Hermes. I want to thank Hermes here because we're stationing retrograde, and I think the stream is lasting. I think it worked out. So I want to thank the thief himself, Hermes. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Nicholas. And thank you, Hekate, for the pre-new moon ritual. Chao, Esmeralda. Que te vaya bien, ¿ah? Buena noche. Yeah, let's do it this way. And Jolly Jupiter, you know, you're in this new moon today and everything, and I know I on my social media I talk some smack about Sag energy. You know I love you all. And we want the cheerleading. We want the wind in our face. We want the quest. We do. So thank you for showing us how it's done, and how Mercury will help us with this, you know, during the retrograde. I mean, hell, we need as much hope these days and good vibes as possible. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We just don't want it to dissipate. We just don't want it to just disappear on us. We want it concrete and long-lasting. That's a hope I have. My Sagittarius part of my chart. So yeah, it's okay to dream big. But we don't want to stop there. And when we clear things up through this retrograde and we come out of it into the new year, into January and February, we'll have some marked clarity with all the planets moving forward out of retrograde to get ready for the wild spring we're going to have. But first, we check where we come from. What we believe in, and we review. Just remember along the way to step out, check your nervous systems. As we say goodbye to the end of the year, or this whole year, We'll test our theory. That's what being on this planet's all about. Test our theory. Test our quest. Hopefully here in the next several weeks for all of you that along the way on this little weird backwards quest trek, it's new moon and Mercury retrograde, that you'll run into some people along the way that you connect with, that share the liminal space with you. Remember to look in each other's eyes and acknowledge the warrior within them and within yourself.